All right, so let's remove what we talked about in the previous session and let's focus about what is life cycle. Now, let me see, we have here cleaned up our components. It's totally empty now. We have React class construction prop states, which is empty, and we have our app, which is also empty as well. Lifecycle is basically built-in event functions that you can call the way that you want, and it will run alone by itself. For example, with vanilla JavaScript, we want to check, we want to run, uh, we want to run a function when DOM is ready. We have this with JavaScript, with normal JavaScript, and we were doing something like window.on, something like this, DOM ready or whatever, blah, blah, blah. And then we write a function and that's it. So it's basic. I don't remember what this was exactly, DOM ready or on ready or ready, etc. But it was something like this to check if the DOM is ready to run the function by default. But with React, you have a built-in lifecycle called component did mount. And component did mount is basically a function that it will automatically run if the component mounted. I will just console log here test. Now save, go to the browser, check, you see test comes directly. Every time you refresh, you see test came here. And the reason is basically component did mount, it will run the function after the component is mounted or after the component is loaded. When do we need to use this? When we want to fetch data, for example, from the JSON placeholder API, I have here an API, I will quickly call the API to fetch this information. In the API, I have users, I have list of users, if I'm not mistaken. Yes, we have here 10 users, and here this API, it will give me this list of users. So I will copy this line. Before I copy this line, I will use this API to print the user information in my project here. Now, look what I will do. First of all, I need to create in the state something called users, which is an empty array. I created a place where I need to save the information of the users that I will get from this API. Now, second, I will install a package called Axios, npmi Axios. And Axios is a package that you can use to send requests to an API. Like, for example, XML HTTP request with vanilla JavaScript, or like fetch or get with jQuery. But with React, you can use different things for sure, but I like Axios. I use Axios a lot, and I think most of the developers using Axios inside React. Now it's already installed. I will run the project. I will check with you the package.json, guys. You should see somehow that we have Axios here installed. Now, exactly like Node, when you install package, you should require it or import it. So I will write here import Axios from Axios. Now I can use it in my project. When I need to use it, I need to use it when component did mount. So we fetch this data when the component mounted. And we go with Axios.get. What I want to get, I want to get these informations, this API. Copy and paste. Now after we get, we have .then. Either we got a result from API, right? Or we catched an error and then we console log what is the error. Now, if we got any result from our API, we can basically here console log our result. Let me check with you what is the result after we refresh the page. Let's see what will happen after we refresh the page. It's a bit slow because here you can see start the development server. So React is a bit slow, or maybe my laptop, but let's wait until the development server. This is finished now. And now if you check the browser, you should see it's finished now. Now here you see console log, it always comes twice. The reason of that actually is inside index.js. It's all because app is rendering inside the strict mode, but if we take the strict mode out and we just render the app like this, so it will not have the information in both time. But strict mode, for some reason, it prints the console twice. Now you can see we just have it once. Now, this is what you see now in the console. It's basically the result that we got from this API. If you check what it is, inside the result you have data. Inside the data you have array of 10 users. So I will write here result.data. Now you can see result.data is basically all about the array of 10 users that we need to fetch. I will put this information inside the state. How to put the information inside the state? It's so easy. I will write this dot set state, which means please set in the state. It should be a function, and inside this function, it should be an object. Now, what should we put inside set state? I will update the user information, and the new information is this one, which is result.data, and I will remove the old object that I have. So the syntax is basically this dot set state function object. What is you want to set? I want to set the user. What is the new data? The new data is basically the API result dot data. This is this is how we set it in the state. Now let's take a look. If you install in your browser the components tool, which is related to React, and I check the app, you can see here the state of the app has user, and the user has the user information. If I refresh, we should see that the app has this data. I will try to do network slow here. It's a slow 4G, and we go to component, we refresh the page. It should be a bit slow now, but I want it to be slow, but it's not really slow. Let me check again. Instead of slow 4G, let's try 3G maybe. Refresh the page. Yes, it's a bit slow. Can we see the component now? No, we still see. I just wanted to show you, like, because it's slow, you have a user still empty, and then after that we fetch the data and the data comes to the state, but we can do that here. Inside component did mount here, Axios.get, I will do like set timeout. I want to set timeout. This is a function. I want to after 3 seconds, for example, okay? And here I will put this one back as it was before, like there is no problem, nothing. And now let me print, and this is the app. You can see it's empty after 3 seconds, the data came. Let me make it again back, and instead of 3, let's make it 5. Now refresh the page, app component, it has a state, the state is empty, wait a second, now the state has the data. So now you can see the state and you can see the data if you want to debug your project. But there is no need, or let's keep it like that for now. No need for set timeout. Now what I want to do, I want to print all this list of users, which as you know, it's list of object, etc. Okay, we have here this.state.users. I can here do a for loop. First of all, JavaScript, this dot state dot users. And if it's really the data, it's already in the state, so we can now do dot map. And for each user, I will always need to return. If you guys didn't write return, nothing will happen. And if I write div, for example, and then h1, it will not work because you cannot render two things. You should always render one thing. For example, you want to render div and h1, okay, no problem. You create a big div and then you put everything inside that div. So basically you are returning just one big thing, which is one big div. Now, for each user, I will create this div, and for each div, let's say we have an h1, and for each one we have user dot what? User dot name. Now let me see. You can see now this is the data from our API. So let's repeat. Component did mount is a lifecycle function that makes the project runs directly after the page loaded. Axios is a package where you can connect API. Now, Axios did get, I want to send a GET request to this API, dot then or dot catch, either you catch an error, you console log an error, or you get result, and then you set this result in the state, and you choose the user data in the state, and you choose here what is the value you want to set. We checked our tools to see what is the data that we have inside our state. When we inspect, you can install this tool. It's not built in, but you should add it to your Chrome. Here, component. Inside the component, you have app. Inside the app, you can see the state here, and all the information in the state, you can see it here. Now, after we save it in the array, we start looping. If you have users, then loop through the users. For each user, always return and always return this thing. Now, we should have an error or a warning in the console. Every time you have a for loop, you see always the same error. Each child in a list should have a unique key. So we need to have a unique key inside each child. Now, we are returning for user. For each user, for this one, we need to have a specific key. Now, what is the key? The key, it can be the user itself, it can be the user ID, it can be whatever. Now, if you check, it will tell you the key cannot be an whole object. It can be something inside the object. Okay, we have ID inside the object. So I will write user.id. Let me see. Now we don't have anything in the error here. We have list of user. You can also print, for example, the email. So I will do h1 and then we have a span. This span is basically user.email. Now it will print for us the name and the email for each user. You can also print like an HR between each one. So this is first one, second one, third one, etc. You have 10 users. Each user you see the name and the email. So this is what is the life cycle, what is Axios, and what is you can do this just inside the class component. Axios, you can make it in a function component, no problem, like import Axios from Axios, but there is no component did mount. You cannot use component did mount as a life cycle, and you cannot use the state as well. So for a life cycle and for a state, you should always go with a class component to be able to do all these informations. So this was our video, our session. Let me know if you have any questions. Thank you for watching and good luck.